Thank you very much, Dr. Worthner. I'm happy to report that I'm not moonlighting for Murray McGilvery, but I am indeed Aretha Van Herk. Sarah Kirsten Quinn, please stand. Eminent Chancellor, Mr. President, members of the Senate and Board of Governors, honored guests, fellow faculty, and graduates. Sara and Tegan Quinn. We think we know them as identical twins, but they are far more than a musical duo, greater than any ampersand. Multi-instrumentalist, singer, and actress, Sara Quinn is creatively chameleonic, a wordsmith who raises her voice for equity, diversity, and inclusion. An advocate for self-discovery and LGBTQ rights, Sara Quinn brings those aspirations closer to realization. As a duo, Tegan and Sara have released 10 studio albums, a memoir, a graphic novel, and inspired a television series. Their songs have been featured in film, video, television, streaming episodes, and video games. They strolled the red carpet to perform Everything is Awesome, the Lego music soundtrack at the Oscars. Nominated for many music awards, they have won a dozen, including a Juno Award, a Canadian Radio Music Award, and the Governor General's Performing Arts Award. Their music teases and celebrates, making every listener remember and making feet want to dance. Twins, it's said, are never alone. Twins share a secret philosophy. But Sara and Tegan have traversed the challenge of individual identity, even and despite closeness and apartness, mimicry and separation. Each has found her own place, her own home, her own fortitude. A writer, actress, and performer, Sara Quinn embodies artistry and activism. She defended the first graphic novel featured as part of CBC's Canada Reads, and although the book did not win, it was voted best as People's Choice, and I think that's due to Sara. She is a mother and an active proponent for found family and families of choice. Proudly queer pathbreakers, Sara and Tegan are supported by their dedicated fans, but above all, they support others. Through their foundation, they raise awareness in the fight against regressive legislation and the movement for economic, racial, and gender justice. Sara Quinn speaks out for LGBTQ equality, women's rights, music education, and literacy. No time is more appropriate than now to recognize the need for defenders of equity, diversity, and inclusion. Sara Quinn has been at the heart of this advocacy while gifting the world inimitable music. Eminent Chancellor, let us honor today a woman of joy and resilience, an artist who champions justice and progress. On behalf of the Senate and the university, I invite you to invest Sara Kirsten Quinn with the degree Doctor of Laws honoris causa.
Incredible. Incredible. So, one at a time. I admit you, Sara Quinn, to the degrees Doctor of Laws honoris causa, and grant you all the rights and privileges, powers and responsibilities pertaining to this degree. Congratulations. Hold on. The picture is the most important part.
Tegan Rain Quinn, please stand. Eminent Chancellor, Mr. President, Madam President, Mr. President's missing, members of the Senate and the Board of Governors, honored guests, fellow faculty, graduates. Tegan and Sara Quinn are far more than a duo, greater than any ampersand. As a performer, listener, activist, and champion, Tegan Quinn is an innovative and original musician, instrumentalist, and artist. An actress, writer, and melodist, Tegan Quinn has had roles in film, TV, and music videos. It was Tegan, I believe, who announced, while competing in the 1988 Calgary Garage Wars Battle of the Bands, that if she and Sara didn't get first place that night, their mom would force them to go to college. They won, and their trajectory, their conduit for connection began. Now they become part of this university family. Whether alternative, indie, or pop, beyond any label, Tegan Quinn's is a unique and singular voice for self-discovery. She fights for racial, economic, social, and gender justice, and she generously supports the work of other artists, even while she works steadily at solo music projects and TV pitches. Their fictionalized autobiography, Tegan and Sara, Junior High, explores the maze of adolescent anxiety, sisterhood, and the experience of coming out. High School is a memoir documenting that eponymous hell, growing up and growing past the present to sight a horizon filled with promise. Through grunge, rave, ice cream sandwiches, and Grey's Anatomy, Tegan and Sara celebrate LGBTQ positionality. As I've said before, twins are never alone. They correspond and contain one another. But Tegan and Sara have negotiated individual identity even and despite closeness and apartness. In confronting the question of what is one sister without the other, or what Tegan has identified as their shared emotional terrorism, each one has found her own place, her own home, her own fortitude. As disruptors, politically active, and socially engaged, they raise funds through their foundation to support LGBTQ equality, women's rights, music education, literacy, and cancer research. They've declared that the greatest gift of their career has been able to redistribute time, energy, and money back into the community that they care about so deeply. It is now an urgent time to recognize defenders of equity, diversity, and inclusion. As a musician, Tegan Quinn has been a trailblazer for that objective. Eminent Chancellor, let us honor a woman of artistry and activism, an advocate for the future of creative power. On behalf of the Senate and the university, I invite you to invest Tegan Rain Quinn with the degree Doctor of Laws, honoris causa.
I admit you, Tegan Quinn, to the degrees Doctor of Laws Honoris Causa, and grant you the rights and privileges, powers, and responsibilities pertaining to this degree. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, I would invite everybody to rise. Stand up, stand up. Let's give them a round of applause. Congratulations. You may be seated.
Okay, wow. It's a very strange thing to be standing on this stage right now. Before we came out here, they told us we were going to share this and a microphone, which was fine. They told us it was a tight space, which is good. We're used to tight spaces and sharing a microphone. They also told us not to say, "Can you hear us?" which is like telling someone not to swear before they go on television. So now I feel compelled, just for giggles, to say, "Can you hear us?" Excellent. Sarah gave me the opening, which is, I think, her way of saying that she is nervous. I will do my best to open, but I want to just start by saying thank you so much, and it's an honor to be here today and to share the stage with you. Eminent Chancellor, Provost, distinguished guests, graduands, and all the friends and families gathered here today, including ours, we're deeply honored to join you this morning. My name is Tegan, and this is my twin sister, Sara. I'd like to begin by expressing our heartfelt gratitude for this honorary degree. Do you feel nervous to stand so close to me? Do you want to? You're weaving like you've been drinking. You're like, okay, she's going to be okay, everybody. While we didn't attend college or university, our lives have been deeply rooted in the pursuit of education. First as musicians, and then as business owners, and more recently, as our lives have become focused on our philanthropic work with the LGBTQ+ community. Although we will leave here today with a diploma, it's safe to say that our learning journey is never truly over. So growing up in our household, the pursuit of post-secondary education wasn't just a dream, it was a daily practice. At the age of 10, we watched our mom walk across the stage to receive her Bachelor of Social Work. In 1995, the year we started high school at Crescent Heights, we witnessed her achieve the rank of Master of Social Work right here at the University of Calgary. We were incredibly proud. Her journey as a student was far from easy. She navigated the challenges of academics while juggling parenthood and maintaining a full-time job. Try complaining about homework when your mom also has homework. Sacrifices were made, but we understood that her pursuit of higher education was deeply connected with opportunity, benefiting our entire family. It's worth noting that her belief that young children could do their own laundry and prepare microwavable ramen would prove invaluable in our later years as struggling musicians. What resonated most with us was her unwavering commitment to serving her community. She didn't just have a job, she had a purpose. A job was merely a means to earn money, but having purpose meant that your work was driven by a profound sense of passion and dedication. Her passion for social justice nourished our adolescent rebelliousness. She advocated for people's rights, engaged in challenging conversations, she pushed boundaries, and much to the delight of her teenage daughters, she had a healthy level of skepticism of authority. She didn't just bend the rules, she often created her own. Consequently, when adults would ask Sarah and I what we wanted to study after high school, we would often say social work, just like our mom. Of course, everything changed after I wrote my first song at the age of 15. Tegan quickly followed suit, and we started our first band. Our parents, friends, our secret girlfriends believed in our unique talent, and while we had shown some promise in academics and sports, we lacked the commitment and discipline to wholeheartedly pursue them. Our shift to music must have come as a great relief to those around us. We talked endlessly about our band. It became our identity, our future. As a closeted teenager, performing music provided a safe venue to express what I was most afraid of. I couldn't name the feelings I had for girls, but I could sing about them, and it was a lifeline. Looking back, it's clear now that neither of us had any intention of pursuing a university education after high school. We wanted to be rock stars. Well, I wanted to be a rock star. I made Sara come along with me. In fact, our dedication to high school itself was often in doubt, except when it involved using the recording equipment in our broadcasting and communications class to create demos we then sold to fellow students in the hallways during lunch, our first business venture. In our senior year of high school, we entered a Battle of the Bands competition here at the University of Calgary. We'd been avoiding the topic of university, and tensions at home with our mom had escalated. Garage wars became a beacon of hope. Our official entry form formalized our intentions and proved to our mom that we could fill out an application form. Our acceptance into the contest was a shock, but it also acknowledged that we didn't suck. With our friends and family in tow, we moved from the semifinals to the finals with ease. I must admit, trouncing a bunch of college kids felt exciting. The closer we got to the final, the more nervous everyone around us seemed, as if this contest truly stood between Sara and I and our future. We won, and standing on that stage that night, it felt like a graduation ceremony. It certainly was an acknowledgement that we were on the right path. Our belief that we could become professional musicians transitioned from precocious and somewhat delusional to an undeniable reality. We finished high school with an impressive but brief resume, and we hit the ground running. When we weren't performing or slinging coffee at our part-time jobs, we immersed ourselves in books about the music industry. We borrowed money to create our first independent album and traveled across the country to perform for strangers. During that time, my insecurities and doubts began to surface, especially after a few public meltdowns during our weekly coffee shop gig that eventually led us to therapy. I threatened to quit the band on numerous occasions. I still do. It was a source of frustration and exasperation for Tegan. When Sara's self-doubt crept in, I was determined not to let her jeopardize our shared future, so I ratted her out. Sara wants to quit the band, I told our mom one night. She followed me downstairs and firmly declared to Sara through her bedroom door, "You are not quitting on your sister." I didn't quit, although I continued to threaten to do so regularly. My decision to stay wasn't solely rooted in guilt or fear of our mom. It was fueled by the profound sense of purpose I felt when we were singing. And I'd like to pause here for a moment and say that doubting oneself, as I'm sure many of you have on your journey, is not unusual, and it will surely happen again many times throughout your life. The biggest lesson I've learned as a self-doubting artist is that my greatest strength is recognizing my weaknesses. Embracing vulnerability has made my work better, not worse. At times, it required admitting that I had no idea what I was doing. Fortunately, Tegan exudes confidence and inspired me to keep going. And I guess my second piece of advice is never take for granted the people who refuse to let you quit. In my case, it was the people who told me to stop Googling myself and obsessing over trolls in the comment sections. Good advice for anyone, really. Eventually, Sara and I signed a record deal and we began touring the world. It wasn't as glamorous as you might imagine, nor did it pay well, but it represented a rite of passage. Every misstep was a test, and each milestone was a testament to the life we had chosen. We didn't just learn the business, we became a business. Food poisoning, meager pay, empty venues, disinterested audiences, these were all potential deterrents. But it was homophobia and misogyny that we encountered from the media and people in positions of power that posed the greatest threat to Sara and I. What we learned from those challenges was that we didn't want to just be a band with catchy songs. We wanted to use our privileged position to create institutional change. We achieved this by pushing boundaries, engaging in uncomfortable conversations, challenging authority, and in some cases, not just bending the rules, but making our own. Once again, thanks to our mom for teaching us those lessons. The question of what kind of change we could make with our public platform has come to define our lives. In 2016, we formalized our activism by establishing the Tegan and Sara Foundation. We are committed to supporting LGBTQ grassroots organizations, activists, and communities that major funding institutions often overlook. A significant portion of the funds that we raise come directly from the generous contributions of Tegan and Sara fans, which is something that we're very proud of. This past June, Sara and I celebrated 25 years as a professional band. It's challenging to convey just how much we've experienced in those 2.5 decades. While we once felt like outsiders, we now find ourselves as insiders. Yet the ground beneath our feet is constantly shifting due to technology, politics, and a global pandemic. We're proud to have weathered those changes by returning to the idea that our work isn't just a job, it's our purpose. While I'm extremely proud of our career, I hope we'll be remembered for the friendships we've nurtured, the families we've built, and the contributions we've made to the LGBTQ community. I also believe we had some fantastic haircuts along the way. Our dad used to say, there's no rush to figure out what you want to be when you grow up, because once you've decided, you have to do it for another 40 years. I took that advice as a warning. I can tell you that neither Tegan or me has quite figured out what we want to be when we grow up. No matter what you do with the well-earned diploma you receive today, surround yourself by people you love. If your job isn't your passion, find one. Don't be afraid to walk an uncertain path, go back to school, reinvent yourself, and don't let anyone tell you that you can't change the world. You can. We owe so much to our parents, and I want to extend our gratitude to all our friends, family, and colleagues here today who've played an instrumental role in our many successes. While it was often just the two of us on stage, there was a passionate community of people who supported us and held us up, and for that we are eternally grateful. Congratulations again to every single one of you. You should be very proud of yourselves. Thank you so much again for letting us speak.
Graduands, please stand.